Last time I spoke about thoughts being insidious. So, to understand the very nature of it, so that we can know what it is doing, how it is doing what it is doing. Now, what is thought actually? What is thought? Thought is definitely one of the fundamental principles that we refer to as the three principles: mind, consciousness, and thought. Thought is a creative, formless energy. It is a divine energy. Divine because the principle of thought had been before any of the existence that we can even try to understand. And the principle of thought will exist even after all this existence is gone. Since it is formless, it has no beginning and no end. In the Indian tradition, in Sanskrit, we call it swaswata. Swaswata. That means always, eternal. So thought is eternal. It has to be there. It is there because without it, existence would not have happened. Or rather, we can say that existence perhaps would have happened, but we would not be able to understand the existence. We would not be able to experience the existence as we do, minus thought. So thought is not your enemy. Thought is our friend. But what matters is that how we use the power of thought. Like I can tell you, fire, not a single day goes by without using fire. And perhaps whoever had discovered fire in the earlier times perhaps had been the most famous scientist ever born. How to ignite a fire, because fire was already there, but how to ignite a fire. Now, fire is one of the most essential and vital things in our life. Without it, we can't survive. Not a single day goes by without using fire. But just think what it would happen if you give the very same fire or the power to ignite a fire to a 2-year-old, to a 3-year-old kid who doesn't know the very importance of it, who doesn't know the warnings of it, who doesn't know properly how to use it. So the same thing, which is actually a friend to ours, which is our friend, we can turn it against ourselves if we do not know how to use it properly. The exact same thing is with thought. Our entire life depends on how we are actually using it, this principle of thought. Sorry. Now, thought as the principle is a formless energy which we cannot decipher. We can only understand thought when it creates a mental activity inside our head, which we call thinking. Or we can say thought, the principle of thought, when it has taken a particular form. The formless principle of thought, when it has taken a particular form in our head, which creates a mental activity, which we call thinking, the very act of that mental activity which we call thinking, then we can actually understand it, because we cannot understand a formless thing. We can only understand a form. Our intellectual mind, our ego is made in such a way that we can only understand a form, not a formless thing. So when the principle of thought takes form and creates a mental activity inside our heads, which we call thinking, then two things happen. The first thing that happens is the very act of that thinking, created by the principle of thought, which has now taken a particular form inside our head. And simultaneously, at the same time, what happens that it also creates a feeling, a corresponding feeling to that thinking. The feeling part is also created by the very principle of thought, by the power of thought. You can call it the principle of thought, you can call it the power of thought, whatever. Because see, what I'm trying to make you understand is that something which is formless. That's why I have to use metaphor. We all have to use metaphors. Whenever we are trying to understand something formless, we definitely have to use metaphors. But again, I am requesting you not to listen just to the words, but to listen to the essence of the words. Look for the feeling. Listen for your feeling, what the feeling you are having. If you are having a good feeling, you are getting it. Don't worry, you are getting it. Even if you don't understand a single thing what I am saying, you are getting it. So again, I am telling, the principle of thought, the formless creative energy, when it takes form inside our head, a particular form, the very activity is called thinking. Simultaneously, the principle of thought also creates a feeling. The thinking and the feeling go side by side. It can never happen that you have a thinking but you don't have a feeling. It cannot happen. Never, never, never. Whenever you are having a mental activity, that is thinking, you are also going to have a feeling, because they are created at the same time. Not one after another, but at the same time. Always. Another thing is also created. When that thinking is getting created in your head, the mental activity, and you are also having a feeling for that, it may be a good feeling, it may be a neutral feeling, it may be a bad feeling. If it is a good thought, you will have a good feeling. If it is a bad thought, you will have a bad feeling. Simultaneously, one more thing is also created. What is that? It is the content of that thinking. Content is being the form. Content being the form. The thinking that is created in your head is just a mental activity. You can't see it. You can't hear it. Because it is also formless. Because it is created by something formless. A formless thing creates only a formless thing. The formless principle of thought creates the mental activity, and also the content of that mental activity. So when we are referring to any thought, we are rather referring to the content. Because content we can understand. And content is innumerable. Content is limitless. And the main problem goes by the content. The content grabs you. The content entraps you. The content makes it seem so valuable to you, as if you have to focus on the content no matter what. But if you are immersed in the content, I'm telling you, you can never win the game. Then you are lost. Because the content is illusion. The content does not exist. More on the later videos. Thank you. Keep watching. Please like and subscribe.